does. Whenever, like, well, the pig's walking off the ceiling.
Yeah.
I love that. It's giving me such big Mabel from Gravity Falls energy. Oh, wow. Okay. So are we actually going to start this episode?
Yeah, we'll actually start. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome back to Friends of Disney.
Welcome to a new place.
A new
Yes.
time.
We are in our kitchen.
And it's a new day.
It's a new day, and you know what today sounds great for?
A big year!
A big year.
A quite big year.
Today we're talking about the Disney film Big Year, featuring Jack Black, that one guy who does Lightning McQueen, and that other one guy.
Jack Black,
It's the
Steve
guy who
Martin.
does Cheaper but doesn't.
Yes. Jack Black, Steve Martin, and why can't I remember his name?
Stu.
What's his name? The guy who played Lightning McQueen.
I don't know. His name was just Lightning McQueen in my head.
I can't remember his name.
Hold on, I'm gonna Google it.
Please do.
That one blonde dude.
Yes, who also plays Jedediah in Night of the Museum. He's my favorite.
Yes. And he also plays this guy in the new Disney Haunted Mansion movie.
Who I also love.
Boltvick.
Maybe.
Was it Boltvick? His last name?
Bullstick.
Goldstick.
Goldstick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say bye. Hold on. Owen! Owen
Owen
Wilson.
Wilson.
Hi, I love you. I just wanted to let you know. Sorry, I forgot your name.
And
Big mood.
okay, before we get into like what this movie's about, can we all agree this was a really weird freaking movie for Disney to make?
Oh my gosh. So last night, on every 20th of every month, I have this friend that we video chat over. And so I had to explain the movie that we were watching. I was like, okay, so imagine the most non-Disney movie you can ever imagine. Now imagine you get 3 main A-list actors and just have them talk about birds.
But to be fair, this seems like one of those movies where it's Disney has the licensing to it, you know, and they probably helped with productions and things like that.
Yeah, it both like
And they bought the film. Like it
Yeah, I mean,
it definitely seems like one of those films.
it's what.
because otherwise I can't imagine Disney going, okay guys,
You've never heard about this movie.
big year.
Yeah.
This is like when part of this podcast was just so that way we could talk about those Disney movies that don't get talked about, maybe that we've never seen before, and we've never heard of this movie.
Straight up, we went on Disney Plus, started looking for movies, and then we're like, big year. Jack Black? Okay.
And so this movie is about what's this thing called a big year, which is this thing in the birding community where
Yes.
it's basically you spend an entire year trying to see as many different species of birds as you can,
That are like local to the area.
more or less.
So like it'd be like I travel, I don't know, what's in I don't know,
They-
birds.
They went from like Seattle, Washington to Maine to Texas,
Alaska.
Alaska, everything in between,
In America.
Just to look at birds.
just to look at birds.
And they were excited about doing it.
Like these 3 guys were basically competing
To
see-
who sees the most birds in one whole year, which is why it's called a big year.
And here's the thing. There's no prize to be won besides bragging rights. There's no money.
You're in a magazine.
Yeah,
So bragging rights. But you're in a magazine.
bragging rights, nothing else, and it's just it's like, hey, how can we make the most boring thing possible interesting?
Make Lightning McQueen become a douchebag.
Yeah, Owen Wilson plays a huge douche in this movie, and he gets everything he earns in the end. He deserves it.
Yeah, and then that like also kind of reaches the end of the movie where they're just and Jack Black and
Should I actually look up these characters' names? Hold on.
So Jack Black plays this guy Brad.
yeah, and then
And
Stu.
Steve Martin plays an older guy, Stu. And then Owen Wilson plays this guy. He goes by his last name, Bostic. And I don't even remember what his first name is.
I just remember them like Boston.
It's like in this world, you hear Bostic, you know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, Kenny. Nope. Yep, Kenny.
Kenny Boss
Wait, that's not Owen Williams.
Wilson.
Yeah. Okay, so to be fair, I'm looking at characters, and so like they have every other character like with like their actor, and then there's just this random guy for Owen Wilson.
Well, remember that this is more or less based on a true story.
But then Brad has Jack Black, so
Wait, what? This is a real thing?
yeah.
The beginning when he said it was based on a true story, but some of the facts were changed.
He said all the facts were changed.
I don't know the full details. But
I'm gonna guess it is a thing because
Anyways, meet evil Bostic.
he has this record that he set.
He
It's like-
ruined his life because of going after these birds. And then Stu and Brad, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Team up to help look for all these birds. And they're like, you know what? We may have not won, but we won it all.
Yeah.
In terms of life. Like, there is, obviously, this is happening within a year, and there's, like, life events going on in their real life. And, yeah, Bostic lost sight due to his, and getting the birds and getting the biggest number of birds he can in a year. And the other two are like, well, you know what? This is still life. We're still going to do our life things, and we'll help each other find birds, but, you know,
Like
these events are more important, and we can't miss out on them.
Like Stu got a grandchild.
Yeah.
it was so
And-
cute.
Brad's dad got a heart attack. That
It's-
sounds horrible.
So
It happened.
He also worked a full-time job the entire movie.
I think
Shout out to Brad.
I think we should delve deeper into each character.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
start.
Also got a girlfriend at the end.
So I feel like
Let's start with Owen Wilson's character.
oh yeah.
Bostic. Well,
Bostic.
it's
yeah.
easier to call him Bostic because that's what they called
Yeah.
him in the movie.
Yeah.
He's
So-
a jerk.
Yeah. And so Bostic at the
Let's
beginning-
start with his original record
I
was
was getting there.
I just want to say 736.
That was 732.
It's in the 730s.
Yeah.
There we
it's
go.
it's a 730 something different bird species within a full year. So he holds the world record for it.
At the beginning of the movie.
And he learns that there's some weather events happening in the world, and he feels like his record is in jeopardy because of it. And so, even though he had promised his wife he was never going to do another big year, he goes out to do another big year anyway.
And the issue with this is that his wife, they are working on trying to conceive a child through hormone therapy and
They're also like renovating their house.
artificial
Mhm.
insemination. It seemed like what they were working on.
Seemed like it, yeah.
Yeah, because she was taking the shots and getting everything ready, and he was supposed to provide, the baby
You-
stuff.
He was supposed to get the nursery ready and all of these things, and
Yeah.
he up and left all because he wanted to protect his record.
And he wanted to find the snowy owl.
And the whole thing was that every time he tried to find the snowy owl, he always failed, and he could never actually see the snowy owl.
This is what you need to do. You need to go to anywhere. Find this thing called Harry Potter. There is a very, very, very strong association with Harry Potter and snowy owls.
I was like, the real question is, do you think the wife is the snowy owl in the movie?
Oh, definitely.
I think it's one of those things where it's like, if you're gonna commit to something like that, let it be a one and done. You take so much out of your own life to
And
do
that's-
something on that scale.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what Brad and Stu did,
They're like, this is my 1 year, my one chance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Stu was like, don't worry about the money, dude. Like, I'm going to help you.
To Brad.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to dip out this
Like,
movie.
I don't think there's anything more we can really talk about with Bostic and the choices he made, because they were wrong to begin with. Like,
Bostic just chose birds over his entire life, and it led his wife to divorcing him.
Which she should.
yeah,
And then Bostic then went to China to go look at birds.
yeah. And so,
After having a Chinese dinner on Christmas Eve with some people, and he's like, "How are the birds in China?"
mhm. So who do you guys want to move on to next?
I
Stu or
think-
Brad?
Stu is the next one because we see most of this movie through Brad's eyes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's our narrator. He's our guy.
I really like Stu.
I like Stu too.
Like, Stu is an older guy. We all know Steve Martin. Assuming you've seen something Steve Martin's been in. He's also in Only Murders in the Building, which I love that show.
He's a businessman in this movie.
He's a CEO in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, still businessman, just really, really, really good businessman.
And for years he's put off his retirement. And this year he decides, whoa! Sorry.
Sorry, if you're listening, not on YouTube, me and Janelle are
Tossing a ball back and forth, and I'm creating like a little goalie here, and then the ball. The ball the ball went through underneath the goal, but that in itself could have been another goal. So, woo!
Touchdown!
Score!
But so yeah, Stu has been putting off his retirement, and apparently it's been his life's goal to do a big year at least once. And so he finally retires, and he sets off to do a big year. Wife's full support, which I appreciate.
Shout out to the wife who is just the champion.
She's like, you need to do what makes you happy. And he's like, I just want to do a big year.
Like,
And she's like, see a rare one for me then.
yeah, and it's really precious, and like you can see how nice of a guy he is with like the relationship he forms with Brad, how he interacts with like his brand new grandson.
The way he interacts with his son.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, his son clearly loves him, and it's so sweet. Like after he sees his like grandchild for
Yes.
like what
A day.
a day,
If
they
that.
send him off like waving and smiling, and it's so sweet.
And like I don't know, it's just really like wholesome, and like the grandson ends up being named Stu as well.
Yeah.
And so like I like to call him Stu too.
Stuart Little.
Oh no, not that movie.
But like I don't know, like I really feel for Stu. Like he was trying so hard to retire just to do this one thing that's his life's goal, and like the business he was trying to retire from, like they kept on trying to pull him back in to do these deals.
Yeah, and at the end of the movie, towards the very end of the big year, I think it was actually after the big year, they offered him this new CEO position, and he declined it because he's like, you know what? I'm gonna finally retire.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
And he's like, I just want to live my life.
Mm-hmm. And so Brad, third player in this story, he's like, he's in his 30s, right?
Yeah, he's divorced, he has a full-time job, and he really loves birds.
Like the beginning of the movie, we see him jamming out at work, right? And so someone comes in and is like, "What you listening to?" Thinking, I don't know, it's gonna be rap, it's gonna be like something great, and it's just bird songs.
Oh, yes, he's really good at identifying birds through the sound.
And so
I thought the funniest thing from him, though, is when he's talking with what's her name, and then he's just like, yeah, he's like, I'm not sure why we got divorced. He's like, actually, no, it was the birds.
but Brad, which again is Jack Black, like
Isn't the ringtone to his phone bird, bird, bird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. And so I don't know, like I admire Brad for just wanting to do the one thing he always wanted to do, taking his chance, you know,
Even though he went extremely into debt.
very much into
Yeah,
that.
and Stu really helped him out.
God bless Stu.
But like I really feel for Brad because like his parents were divided. Like his mom was supporting him, basically being his travel agent,
It was adorable.
but his dad always saw as just his son wasting his time to not doing anything with his life. Like what he cares about doesn't matter. And
Yeah, but then you see after the heart attack, like his Stu calls and he's like, "Hey, so there's this. Was it
it
a
was
great owl or something?"
It was a snowy owl.
no,
No, it wasn't a snowy owl. It was a gray.
it was a
owl.
gray owl.
Yeah, but in a nearby forest that they happen to
Mhm.
live next to, and the dad's like, "Put on your coat," and then they go like right after his heart attack, they go looking in the forest for this owl, and the son is Brad. He's more worried about his dad from after having a recent heart attack, and dad's doing just fine. He's like, "Just give me my oxygen tank and go look for the bird."
Yeah. And they end up finding the bird, and like they have this really cute, rejoiced moment, and
And then in the end, his dad starts helping him find these birds. He's like, "Wait, you're about to set a world record?" And he's like, "Go do it."
yeah, I wish I could like generally like my own father like I wish I had that kind of like support because frankly it always feels like I just get the beginning of the movie of Brad's dad or like a Mr. Banks kind of figure. I don't know, like I related so hard to Brad in the beginning of the movie where it's like I'm just trying to do what I love and one of my parents ain't being supportive at all.
I mean, same. But unlike you, we were talking about this earlier this morning. I don't have, like, this is gonna sound really bad. I have killed off any hope for like a redemption arc from my parents. Because I purposely cut off all contact with them. So like, I saw no redeeming qualities in that relationship. So I'm like, they could become saints tomorrow, ordained by the Catholic Church itself, ordained by the Pope, and I'd still be like, nah, sorry, y'all. So we've changed the game from basketball from football to basketball, right?
I don't know how to move on talking about this movie. It's like
Okay.
it was such a niche storyline. Like,
But there was like, okay, one thing I loved was the friendships that Brad and Stu develop on
Yeah.
this trip. And like this kind of symbols that like in life you're gonna meet people.
Mm-hmm.
And these people can really have like an overarching theme into your life. One thing in college that was brought up a lot. Jesus, I am so sorry.
Amen.
Praise the Lord.
I'm an atheist.
I'm not. But one thing the School of Business brought up a lot is connect with people now because the peers that you have, you may run into them later down in the road. Connect with as many people as you can because these people are going to show up again in your life at some point, possibly. And you want to have these good connections. And because one of them may be a fellow entrepreneur later on in life, and you may have overarching business goals, or you may just be really good friends. But it just kind of like symbolizes that, like, kind of pay attention to those, like, be kind, but pay attention to your relationships that you're building in life because they may end up helping you, like Brad and Stu's situation. Stu ends up helping Brad in finding birds and paying for these trips because Brad's working full time, and it shows the kindness that their friendship has. But you're gonna come across multiple people in your lives, and it just be kind to one another and pay attention to what relationship that is going to build.
Okay, that was beautiful. I just want to interrupt for just a second before we get back on this train of thought. We have cats. We're in our kitchen. If you see cats, that's why. Continue.
I definitely rambled on about the one sentence a few times. Sorry. I'm also trying to get words in my head, and I literally took a nap right before I came here, so we're still slightly waking up.
How did you guys feel about the ending of the movie?
I wasn't there. I was chatting with my friend.
Yes.
I liked it.
I was surprised by it. Like, it wasn't what I was expecting. But like I won't. A part of me was expecting this, like obviously like these three were competing with Brad and Stu, like kind of teaming up and stuff. But I was like kind of expecting like them to be like really close to Bostic, but then have them find the snowy owl, and have that be the bird that got them to beat Bostic. Like because
Yeah,
like
that would have been funny.
like
but-
that like the classic like competition thing. Like I was surprised that the movie just let Bostic win and stuff, but like the message they sent of like, yeah, you can win something like this, but like what will you lose in the process? Like yeah, like Brad got number 2 out of the whole thing.
That's also like another overarching theme about this movie is your commitments in life. Bostic put all his commitment into the birds. The wife, she was at the doctor's appointment and he was supposed to be there. I'm pretty sure it was for.
He got there and
Yeah.
was about to walk in through the door.
But then he got a call about this bird and he left to go find the bird.
Mm-hmm.
Like he straight up ditched his wife and.
Like it's okay to have hobbies and like things you enjoy.
Sorry, I'm freaking out over how cute our cat is being. You can't see me. He's like right behind Jonelle. But we have a heater, and so he's just like laying in front of the heater, blinking slowly like a prince. And I'm just obsessing over him.
But like
This also like shows your commitments though and like what you prioritize because like I see this so often with people and I mean like I see it partially true in myself but like if you're career oriented you're gonna make that your life and some people sorry I'm calling you out if you ever watched this.
Nudge, wink, smile.
Mr. Chat.
Yeah, I feel like he also has other things, but like he does prioritize his career, and I know he looks for certain things, but he's prioritizing his career. He's choosing his job over things that he would want, and he lets that guide his life. Now I don't know. I know a good portion of the story, so he's a great guy. It's really nice.
I think it's important to note that priorities can change too. Like
Yeah.
Bostic had already done his big year. He had set the world record. He made his mark.
But he was determined to stay first.
He was determined to stay first. And like you've already done this. And he made the choice to continue that same commitment that he's already achieved. And gave up on committing to a family or to his own wife, which was not his first wife either, because he lost out on his last marriage from a big year.
Yeah.
So he's already experienced
At least 2 marriages, from what we understand.
There was one that was from the big year though. From his last big year. And he saw the consequence of that and still continued thinking that everything would be fine. It's like history repeats itself.
History has its eyes on you. Sorry.
But you can easily, basically, like, especially with someone who's very career oriented, and this is where I like seeing myself, is sometimes you lose a lens and you're very focused on one goal, which for Bostic is keeping his title. For me, that goal is to like making sure I don't have a life that I grew up with, which is why I tend to be more career oriented because I'm like, I need to make sure that I'm financially stable at all times and things like that. And that's totally fine. But then it comes down to like, does that make you happy? And Bostic, you can see that he loses his wife and he was sad about that. But he also did move to China because he loves birds. So he was just like, well, I guess I'm going to go continue looking for birds.
Yeah.
And so he let that lead his happiness. Not as happy, with the family that I think he may have been happy with, but
Well, like
we make choices in life.
and if you're but you always have to be open that things are allowed to change.
Yeah.
You know, like Brad and Stu, both of them dreamt of doing a big year.
I mean, they did technically do a big.
They did do a big year, but you even saw in Stu that he started to try less and less after meeting his grandson because he saw something else that was making him more happy, something that he wanted to spend his time doing.
Well, he was also sad when he was like without his grandson because like those are momentous moments in a child's first year of their life. Is they grow so quickly, and that's something you don't really like want to miss out on.
What?
Bless you.
So, okay.
And it's true about like in the first 5 years of like childhood development, they change so much. And in like a year, they learn how to start talking.
And for like Stu, he wouldn't want to like miss out on possibly the first step. Well, maybe the first crawl. I don't
Like-
think steps coming that soon.
No,
but
no, it'd be like
they're not COVID babies.
yeah, the first like little bit of movement, like being able to hold their heads up by themselves.
Losing the newborn scrunch.
Yeah.
It's we and my work refer to it as like losing the baby chub and gaining the toddler bod.
Well, and then Brad, you know, Brad was in Bostic's point of view at some point in his life, I believe, because of the divorce with his first wife. Which is why I think he understands Bostic's point of view and really
But he at least met someone who shares his
the
same love.
interests. Yeah.
And he even said, like, yeah, I'm focused less on the birds and more on this person. Like, the girlfriend he gets will, like, make sounds to, like, imitate the screeches of certain birds, and he'll guess what they are. Like, it's so cute.
It's like game night, but with birds.
It's
Like, this is why this is the weirdest movie.
that's one of the reasons we're all friends.
It's a movie about bird watching, and it's the weirdest thing.
Sorry, we lost the ball because I was laughing.
You dropped the ball, really?
So fun fact about Sean and I's relationship, we got each other's Snapchats, which don't get me started with Snapchat. But the first like months conversations we would have is just Disney lyrics.
We were talking in explicitly dear Disney lyrics from Disney songs.
So it'd be like, oh, right now all I'm thinking about is Hamilton.
What did I miss?
What did I miss? But it'd be like, how's your day? Topsy turvy, topsy turvy.
How are you doing right now? Hellfire.
This fire.
Like, that was our first conversation. Like, it was a lot of fun when we like. That's just how we started talking with each other when we first met. So
I feel like I do have a question for you too.
Okay.
I mean, also for myself. What would you consider as your big year? Like the one thing.
I was gonna ask that.
I don't think I'm allowed to answer this question on camera.
Go ahead.
Well, hypothetically, it'd probably be something about growing a child. It's not a complete year, but like.
Okay, but like, if you had to like pick a hobby or whatever that had like big year type of thing,
I guess
what
it
would you
could-
try to go for.
Every Disney park? Oh, every national park. If I could do every Disney park.
Oh, okay, that makes sense for you.
I love national parks. They're some of my favorite places in the entire world. They're just amazing. But if not that, I don't know.
I'm still trying to debate because
I don't know what my big year would be.
I think
I
it'd be
think-
listening to a bunch of concerts.
I think for me it'd be being able to play
as many instruments as you can.
in as many different like orchestra groups as I can. Like granted, I'm a saxophone player, so orchestra don't really fit at all with
I was
saxophone.
gonna say band ?
But like something along those lines of like I want to play with as many of those groups as possible. Like there's in like our city has its own symphony orchestra. You always hear about like London, the London Philharmonic, I think it is.
They are incredible. I saw them in concert.
Like that would probably be me because
So I was right listening to band.
yeah,
Just a bland.
I'm a band kid. I can't help it.
I guess I'm already kind of working on this one.
Sora.
But if I was to do a big year, one thing that like I enjoy doing is just traveling. But like to the point where I feel relaxed. I would want to like try and visit as like many locations as I could in a year that like are within my limitations that like make me feel relaxed.
That makes sense.
Because like each location is different. Like in a few months I'll be going to California and Oregon, and I'm gonna go visit the Redwood Forest in California.
You're forgetting your special guest that you're bringing with you.
I'm bringing my cat, Percy. So it's gonna be me and my little mans, and I want Percy to experience, oddly enough, birds.
There's a theme here, guys.
Birds.
So the reason why, though, every night before I go to bed, I've always also wanted to go. I love trees; they're just very mesmerizing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I love just sitting in nature. It's not even going on like hikes or anything, because hiking's not my go-to. I just want to get lost in a forest or get
Peaceful.
lost. Yes, or get lost on the coast and just stare at nature. Because it's so calming. The sounds are wonderful. But also, every night before I go to bed, my cat comes up to cuddle with me, and I put on TikTok, and I play bird videos for my cat.
It's so sweet. Oh my god.
And my cat loves birds. Who would have figured my cat loves birds? But anyways, I want my cat to experience the outdoors, not from TikTok.
That's fair. That's how I want my future kids to be experiencing great outdoors now.
And I would like to get lost in the woods.
Peacefully. It's not like a Slender Man horror movie scenario where it's like, oh no, I'm
Okay.
lost in the woods.
Also,
Well,
the
like
Redwood
Disney. I'm
Forest.
lost in the woods.
The Redwood Forest has trees that are like,
Oh my
they're
god.
so tall.
I'm kind of jealous of Jonelle because I love trees. One of my favorite dreams I've had this past week is I was a small sapling and I grew into a tree. That was the whole dream. It was just me growing, stretching towards the sun, and it was warm and delightful.
But also, like, growing up, I used to climb trees. And
Same. I loved climbing trees as a kid.
these trees, I don't think I can climb up to them. But, you know, I'm bringing my cat. I'm going to have a cat backpack. We're going to have a harness
A
and
cat stroller.
a leash. No, he's going to stay in his backpack. Percy, he's...
Spoiled.
Yeah, Percy's spoiled. I'll carry him around. But he's gonna come with me, and I'm probably gonna bring a book, go sit next to some very large trees. These trees are super tall. They also have like cutouts in the trees so you can drive through them to continue on the path. That is how
We need
big
to
these
go.
trees are. And then I'm gonna head my way back up to the Oregon coast and collect some seashells.
I love that. Bring us back a seashell.
Yeah, well, I want to collect some sand dollars because I want to like try and figure out what some art to do. Yeah. And then I'm also going to go to Portland because I grew up in Oregon, so this is why I'm taking a week off from work to go enjoy life. Let my thoughts ponder in the nothingness void with my cat. But I'm going to go to the Oregon Zoo. I also might go to the Oregon Aquarium as well.
Take pictures. I love aquariums and
I've gone to the Oregon Aquarium multiple times. Same with the Oregon Zoo. Like I grew up in Oregon, so that place is just kind of a home spot for me. Which Oregon also has a lot of trees and a lot of streams, and like I just feel so at peace there.
That's one of my favorite things about the Pacific Northwest is
It's
all
peaceful.
of the trees.
If you can't tell, we live in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Where in the Pacific Northwest? Not Oregon.
Well, we've mentioned where we live.
Many times.
Yeah.
Washington. Y'all.
Washington. Yeah.
That's probably the one.
I won't be stopping in Seattle though. I'm actually going to be going through the Tri-Cities and then.
Oh,
Yeah. Who likes Seattle?
Not me.
I think so. I love Seattle by Owl City. It's my favorite.
Also, one thing that's super annoying as Washingtonians, people who don't live in Washington or have not lived in Washington or do not have family from Washington, they're always like, oh, so you live in Seattle, right? Most annoying. No, I live in a place called Spokane. And at the time, before it was, I live in a place called Grand Coulee. And they're just like, wait, so all of Washington isn't just Seattle? Of course not. It's like, you don't go to New York.
Or being mixed up with DC.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So annoying.
I traveled internationally once and they were like, where are you from? And I was like, oh, Washington in, oh my gosh, Washington in the United States. And they're like, oh, do you live next to the president?
No.
No, I do not live next to the president of the United States. He would not want to live next to me. I, cry a lot.
So, what are your guys' favorite birds?
You stole my question.
Oh my!
You see what I put up with.
Alright, now we need to think of someone to steal my.
You stole my question. I stole her question. I'm saying for her to steal your question.
I don't know what I have.
My favorite bird is a hummingbird.
That makes sense.
For those of you who don't know, I have ADHD, so I get distracted very easily. Like the whole time I was just staring at my cat Sora being cute, trying not to cry.
I will find out if I have ADHD next week.
And yeah, and then we might be ADHD homies.
Which honestly,
Don't look at me.
I was like, I sit here and fidget all the time. Like,
Same. If you look at our videos, we don't stay still.
no, we don't. And I'm so sorry for that. It is very hard to.
My ADHD has been, like, I was diagnosed in, like, the first grade, so I've learned how to sit still. So, on the outside, I appear very calm. On the inside, there's, like, 50 tabs open. There's two sources playing music, and you don't know where they're from, and they're playing at opposite, like, times. And it's chaos. And Sean knows when I'm not feeling well, when I'm like, Sean, I only have one train of thought right now.
Yeah. What's your favorite bird?
But no, hummingbirds are also really cute.
Yeah.
And they flutter, and they go super fast, and they drink the nectar.
They also are, I think they're the only bird that can fly backwards, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible? Or penguins.
Well, penguins can't fly.
But they're birds.
They are
True.
pretty. I like how they sit on their children
Uh.
to keep them warm.
Usually our children sit on us to keep them warm.
I was like, that sounds like a very weird sentence. But like, okay, so I've been watching a lot of TikTok videos on how cats have like their little lower bellies, so when they stretch out, it like protects them. And it's like it's called the pinnellum pouch or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. They have a little pouch. And anyways, when penguins sit, that's like their little pouch. And it's just kind of cute.
It's very
They got a little belly.
They got a little
It's
fluff,
just like how,
especially
like,
the emperor penguins.
kangaroos, the Joey will like go back into the pouch.
It's kind of disturbing when you watch it.
Oh yeah, kangaroo pouches. It's disturbing.
Shout out to the
It's really
Australians.
weird.
Like, you could almost... Okay, I was so sorry
But-
about that.
See, my favorite bird.
Let me guess. I'm trying to read his mind. Viewers who cannot see. Snow owl.
No, I'm a Harry Potter fan, but not that much.
So it's not Hedwig.
Okay, I love Hedwig. Don't get me wrong. But my favorite bird would probably have to go to a raven. I love ravens.
Is it because when they're together they're called a murder?
Every time someone points out, I just remember this time when I was in 5th grade camp, and we went to this place that's like it was like this cabin or whatever that was part of this like nature school that like we had fifth grade camp at, and they had these like puzzle pieces and stuff, but we didn't realize that they were just different puzzle pieces that described what like different groups of animals were called. We just went upstairs into this bedroom, and in the window was a thing that said murder. So we booked it out screaming because we're like, we're gonna get freaking murdered.
Oh my gosh,
I think maybe I like a woodpecker.
Also, murders for crows. I said raven.
I honestly don't know what my favorite bird is.
It may or may not be because I researched it during lunch day. Because I knew this question would probably come up. That's the only reason I know.
I would say like maybe a woodpecker, but also they're very annoying, so maybe not.
I don't like the concept.
Yeah, but I like that sometimes, so it's very controversial because I'm just like, the sound, where's the sound?
What's that sound? Who's that? Pokemon! Woodpecker.
Actually, okay, maybe between like a peacock,
Oh.
very pretty.
I was thinking peacock vibes earlier, and I was like, it's coming from somewhere. It was coming from you.
Is it my blue Perry the Platypus shirt?
You know, it's probably these, like, the leaves. It's the same way they, like, blossom out.
You're very
Cool.
flag coded right now.
Oh, by the way, in case no one noticed, I dyed my hair.
Yes.
It's purple.
Well, okay, it's called Radiant Raspberry, so it technically is purple looking, but it also has like some...
Lots of red undertones.
Yeah, I was like, there's lots of red
It
undertones.
looks really good, if you're wondering.
Everyone at work loves it, and I'm like, you know what? For it being not normal hair, it looks...
Normal-ish.
Yeah, even my professor yesterday commented on it. He's like, I like how vibrant it is, but he's like, it's not in your face vibrant.
Not like the neon purple or blue
Yeah.
that people do.
Yeah, I'm like thinking like on a scale of like 1 to anime character, this is like pretty like mild.
Yeah, and he's like, it suits you very well. And he's like, honestly, he's like, this could be a very business professional look with having vibrant hair at the same time.
That's a high praise from what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're running out of time. So movie rating.
7.
Okay.
Pickles.
Okay. Bye, love.
Bye.
I
Take that as you will with pickles.
yes. She needed to run to the bathroom. I don't know how I would rate it. Not gonna lie, like it wasn't a bad movie.
No, it wasn't, which is why I gave it a 7.
But
Because
like,
it's not a bad movie.
it's one that I can maybe watch every once in a while, like few and far in between.
I think if I wanted like a little good heartfelt moment here and there.
Like if I wanted something to just pass the time, that like it's a very passive movie.
Yeah.
You know, like there's no intensity to it. It's a very
Except
relaxed,
for getting those birds.
except for getting the birds. So it's like it's a very relaxed movie. So I don't like. It's one of those where it's like I'm not gonna be like, ooh, I can't wait to watch this again, kind of deal. But like, it was an alright movie, which is surprising for a movie about freaking bird watching.
Is it similar to... Okay, I haven't seen The Bucket List, but like, is it like similar to The Bucket List, you know?
I have not seen that one.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, if someone has watched The Bucket List, do you think Birds is similar to The Bucket List? Because, like, I know the overall general thing with The Bucket List. So, like, would this movie kind of equate to The Bucket List?
But overall, I think like this movie is worth watching on Disney Plus. for people.
Yeah.
Like,
But, like, this is, like, also kind of like a good family movie.
it is a good family movie. Like you learn about the weirdest things. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Yeah.
This is a really weird movie for Disney to have made.
But it has, like, really good overarching themes,
Yeah.
too. So, like, if you're just, like, with a group of your family, like, I wouldn't say so much the little kids, you know?
I think little kids will still get a kick out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm personally, like, around lines that may not keep their attention.
Yeah.
But, like, I would say like maybe older elementary to, you know,
Yeah.
like
So,
7 to older.
yeah.
7 and up, okay? You're
Yeah.
7 and up, it's a good family movie.
But yeah, I would definitely say check it out on Disney Plus. Like, it was a surprise watch. Like, we were just scrolling trying to figure out what
What
movies
to
to add to our list, and we saw this like almost a month ago. And we're like, we gotta do this. This is such a weird movie.
And we're just like, birds?
Birds.
Birds.
So, with that, like, I think we're all good to wrap up here. You got any final words to say?
I don't think so, other than we need to end with a score.
Well,
Go! Okay.
bye everyone.
Bye!
Enjoy your bird watching.